What is going on, everybody? Fu here, back for a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, we had a very difficult scene between Maria and Rosa, in which they both let out their, I guess you could say, maybe true emotions. Let their emotions run wild, as Rosa said to her daughter that she never really loved her, because Rosa always thought of Maria as a hindrance. Something that she could never move on from, something that always held her back. And Maria hated Rosa for not being a proper mother to her, and for destroying Sakatoru, which was representing of Rosa's love for her. And so, over and over again, we see the scene of Maria killing Rosa over and over and over again in gruesome ways, as they both let out their emotions in a very disturbing scene. It's the best way to describe it. It really is something that, through just writing alone, not much visuals, these games continue to disturb me. The When They Cry disturbs me very much so, using both sound effects and simple words. It really is a testament to it, of it. But we return to the game board, in which we see the remaining adults, besides Goda and Kumasawa, trapped within a dungeon-like place, trying to figure a way out of it, while Kumasawa and Goda meet back up with the children, as they explain to them the thing that could have possibly happened in the dining room, or not all of it, but the deaths of their parents. But thankfully, within the dungeon, there is a phone line, which the eternal lines in the house still work. The external phone lines don't work, but the internal ones, they still work. So both the parents and the children have made a plan of the children to board themselves up within the guest house and wait for their parents to return to them by somehow escaping this dungeon wherever they could possibly be on the island, which could really be anywhere by this point. But yeah, there was a couple of good comments last episode. One comment that was very important is how it describes Rosa's character as she never really grew up, which that makes a lot of sense, really. That Rosa never truly did have a childhood. She was never able to have that as a child. She was always being bickered by either her siblings or by her parents. She was never allowed to have fun within her life, within her childhood. But when she became an adult, she wanted to have fun. That's why she constantly goes on vacations and always lies to Maria about, being at work. Because she wants to have fun. She wants to be loved. She wants the thing that she never had in the first place, which was a personal life, really. Not a business one, not a work one, not even a family one. She just wanted a personal life. And because her first husband obviously left her with, Maria, she always thought of Maria as a hindrance to her life. Because, well, Rosa could never have possibly given love to Maria because she never had that love in the first place. She never got it from her family, that's for sure. Which is just a very sad state of affairs, really, of this woman who just never grew up. She never became a proper adult because she never grew up because she never had the chance to. She never had the chance to have a childhood. And obviously when she's an adult and part of a witch family, well, of course she's going to go on vacations and pretty much, in a sense, abandoned her daughter. within the house. Another interesting comment was a certain sentence that Beatrice and Maria mentioned of that hand being used to, pet a head or read a storybook, but instead hit, is actually very closely resembles to what Takano said in Higurashi after her parents' death via the train, if I remember correctly, of how Takano described that her father would never be able to pat her head, read a storybook, or even hit her anymore because he's simply gone. And that hand won't do anything anymore, which is very sad. Another thing was how it was also very sad about how during Ange and Maria's sections, when Ange was reading Maria's diary, Angie's always interpreted how Rosa treated her in a very negative light, while the Maria she was talking to always tried to spin it into a positive light or a more understanding light of, well, Rosa's the CEO of a company. She has busy work. She's trying to make time for her daughter. But during that scene of Maria killing Rosa over and over again, she twisted all those little things into her mother hating her, essentially. And it's just, God, playing these games back to back. If you watch Trails in the Sky, my last video, that was also a fucking emotionally devastating video as well. Fucking Star Door 15, Jesus. Somehow Star Door 14, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I keep picking these games that emotionally just damage me. I don't know how I do it. It's by accident. But by God, is my suffering just pure entertainment. Oh, these games hurt me so much, man. They really do, both physically and mentally. But anyway, I think that's enough talk. Let's get right into it.
晩作尽きたわね。鉄格子はなんとかなりそう？
残念だが、想像以上に堅牢だ。いつ頃に作られたものか知らんが、耐用年数も文句なし。
Well, good thing they got a good deal on it.
実に有料な物件だよ。
Kyrie chuckled softly. They had no moves they could make, but she had calmed just a little.
さながらここは取られた駒を置く駒置き場ですな。打つ手はもはやありませんか。
まだよ。諦めるには早いわ。思考の停止は鼓動の停止に同じよ。
Yeah.
だな。チェスの駒置き場に意味はないが、将棋ならば大きな意味を持つこともある。駒置き場の一枚の歩が相手にプレッシャーを与えることだってあるはずだ。
なるほど。しかしこの鉄格子はどうしようも。
私たちにはね。でもここの場所を特定し、合田さんに連絡することができれば、助けに来てもらうことはできるかも。
なるほど。しかし合田さんに危険を強いることになりますな。その場合、成人男性が不在になるゲストハウスのお子さんたちも不安です。
リスクを恐れるなら、事態が好転するまで塩漬けにするのも悪くない。もっとも損切りを恐れれば紙切れ同然になるかもしれんがね。我々の命がだが。
I really like that we're getting more characterization from Kraus. Really, like I've always liked this kind of like interesting thing with that's very different from Higurashi. With Higurashi, yeah, some characters did die here and there between the episodes. But I think it works even better for Umineko's case, since it is a very large cast of characters that we can have these different dynamics here and there, like Kyrie and Klaus, Nanjo, and all of them. Like, I feel like it's just it's making use of the time loop mechanic just a little bit more better, actually. Which is crazy to say since Higurashi is still a 10 out of 10 story, in my opinion. Which is just crazy that it's able to be improved on.
親の子犬もね。私たちで何とかするからおとなしくしていなさいって偉そうに電話して、その下の根も乾かないうちに助けを求めるなんて。実にかっこ悪いわね。
この後に及んではくだらんプライドなどとっくに噛み切れだ。知恵を絞ろうじゃないか。ここはどこなんだ。本当に食堂の真下なのだろうか。それとも屋敷とは異なる別の場所だろうか。
As we discerned from last time, it had only been 10 minutes since they were knocked out and, well, quote-unquote knocked out. That's a current theory Kyrie has, and how they got to this dungeon. So obviously, it can't be that far away from the mansion if it's only been 10 minutes, you know? So it still has to be relatively nearby. Probably still on the grounds of the mansion. Klaus, Kyrie, and Ange began to discuss this further. Kenan was squatting by the bars, silently trying to sense anyone's presence, just as he had been ordered. Shannon came close to him, and they both squatted down together.
気配は感じるの？
こちらに意識は向けていないけれど、比較的近くに誰かいる。
Ooh, boy.
それは人間？
ヤギたちだと思う。あいつらの吐息は実に賑やかだよ。
Great, the big buff goats. Ken's ability to sense the presence of others was several levels above that of a human. He said that their breathing was noisy, but Kraus and the rest couldn't even pick up the slightest hint of it. Therefore, if he had obediently reported it, they would have merely doubted Ken's ears.
捕まっちゃったね。
珍しいよ。殺されないで捕まるなんて。
今回はベアトリーチェ様がお越しにならないし、親方様が書斎を出られるし。
This time.
何が何だかわかんないね。
わかるさ。何が起ころうと変わろうと、すべてあの魔女の気まぐれと余興。結果は何も変わらないのさ。
今回は黄金鏡に行けるかな。
さあね。僕たちは脱落率が高いから。
そういえば二人で第一の番を生き延びたのってずいぶん珍しいね。
Okay, so they do remember. Oh shit, they do remember the previous ones.
儀式が始まってるのにこうして二人でお話できるなんてなんだかすごく珍しい気がする。
そうかもね。でもそれもまた魔女の余興だろうさ。僕たちがいつもすぐに脱落するから、今度は少し生き延びさせてからかってやろうくらいにしか思ってないよ。
また黄金鏡にはたどり着けないのかな。
どうせそうさ。下手な期待を持つとまたつけ込まれる。
そうだね。前回はカノン君がつけ込まれたもんね。
僕はバカだ。
Kenan made a sour look and turned his head. Kenan laughed softly and apologetically leaned towards his shoulder.
でもお嬢様が無事でよかったね。
第一の番を逃れただけさ。それ以降の番により無残な方法で殺されるのを待たされているだけかもしれない。それを言ったら姉さんこそジョージ様が無事でよかったじゃないか。二人で黄金鏡にたどり着けるといいね。
ありがとう。同じことをカノン君とお嬢様にも。
僕は期待はしてないよ。 姉さんの言う通りだ。あの魔女はご褒美をぶら下げて相手が右往左往するのを見て楽しんでるだけなんだ。
Yeah, that's true.
どうせ誰も黄金鏡に行けやしない。僕がお嬢様と黄金鏡にたどり着きたいと願ってしまったなら、あいつはそれこそ面白がって絶対に僕たちをたどり着かせたりはしないさ。
そうだね。ベアトリーチェ様はより面白くなるように生贄の順番を考えてる。
無作為に選んでるなんて大嘘だ。あのペテン師魔女め。どうせ黄金鏡にたどり着けばあらゆる願いが叶うなんてのも嘘っぱちに決まってる。
そんなことはないよ。黄金鏡は素晴らしいところだよ。
行ったことあるの？
ちょっぴりだけね。それすらもベアトリーチェ様の戯れだったのだろうけど。
どんなとこなのそこ？
素晴らしいところだよ。うまく説明できない。安らかな夢の中みたいな世界。
バラが咲き乱れてて美しい蝶が舞ってるような極楽みたいな感じ。
そういう具体的なイメージのところじゃないの。本当に夢の中みたいなところなの。そこにいるときはとても穏やかで安らかで、いつまでも眠ってることを許されてる、まるで休日の早朝のお布団の中みたいな感じ。カーテンの隙間から日が差してきて、そろそろ起きないと思うんだけど、今日は休日だから起きなくてもいいんだって気づいて、もう一回お布団の中に潜り込む時みたいな、そんな気持ちになれる場所。
That's a pretty nice feeling.
僕なら損したと思うな。休日なのに勘違いして起き出すなんて姉さんくらいだ。それで
そこにいた時はね、満たされててとても穏やかだった。でも元の世界に戻ってくると、つい直前までそこにいたはずなのにうまく思い出すことができないの。ついさっきまで見ていた夢が思い出せないのによく似てる。でもとっても穏やかで静かな世界だったことだけは覚えてるの。
それだけ？なんだ、あいつが偉そうに言う黄金鏡なんて大したことないな。何でも願いが叶う場所だと思ってたのに。
その通りだよ。何でも願いが叶う場所。少し違うかもしれない。何も願わなくてもいい場所が正解かもしれないね。
Peaceful existence.
例えばカノン君が寒くて上着が欲しいと願った時、上着をもらえればとても幸せなことだけど、そもそも暖かい部屋にいられたなら上着が欲しいなんて願う必要さえもないでしょ。黄金鏡はそういうところなの。大抵の願いは願う必要さえなくなる。全てから解放された何もかもが穏やかな世界なの。与えられて幸せという概念さえも超越した全てから解放された世界とでも言えばいいのかな。
なんだか宗教っぽい世界だな。
そしてそこでは全てが平等なの。意志ある存在は全てが平等。人間も家具も魔女もない。そこでの私は誰とも対等で公平。もう家具だからと何も自分を恥じる必要がない。全ての人間とも、そして魔女とさえ対等な本当に幸せな世界だったの。うまく思い出せないけど そこでは私、ベアトリーチェ様とさえ対等な関係で良い友達でいられた気がする。
あの魔女がいるならろくな理想郷じゃないよ。で、その幸せな黄金郷に姉さんはジョージ様と一緒に行きたいわけだ。おかしな話だね。黄金郷は全てが満ち足りた理想郷なわけでしょ。ジョージ様がいなくても十分に満たされてそうだけど。
黄金郷はね、とても穏やかで安らかで全てが対等で公平だけれど、幸せだけ実は抜けてるの。
Happiness alone, huh?
幸せな世界じゃないの？
もちろん安らかで穏やかで公平というだけですごい幸せな世界だよ。でもそれは例えるなら、全ての悩みというマイナスから解放されたゼロの世界なの。人の世はマイナスで満ちてるから、もちろんゼロというのはものすごい幸福なわけだけど、それでもゼロなの。贅沢だよね。それはこういう感じ。穏やかな休日の朝のまどろみの時、最愛の人も隣にいてくれて手を握っててくれたなら、もっともっと素敵な幸せになれるみたいな。ごめん、姉さんは例えが下手くそだね。バカだから。
つまり姉さんにとっての最高の幸せとは、ジョージ様と一緒にその世界にたどり着くことってわけだ。
そしてきっとカノン君にとっては、お嬢様と一緒にその世界にたどり着くことだよ。
公平な世界で二人は悩みから解放されなんだかおかしな宗教を吹き込まれてるみたいだ。
Now you're saying that this is canon? I mean, come on, man.
僕はもっとこう俗物的な魔法の薬を与えられると人間に生まれ変われるとか、そういう感じの世界を想像してたよ。
行けばわかるよ。ベアトリーチェ様が本当に気まぐれな方なら、いつかきっとカノン君にも垣間見させてくれるに違いない。そうすれば姉さんの例えがよくわかるようになるから。
ま、過剰な期待はしないことにしとくよ。いずれにせよ今回の僕たちはこれでゲームオーバーみたいだし、
Oh shit.
別の機会に期待するさ。
そうだね。おかしな期待を持つとベアトリーチェ様にまたつけ込まれる。何も考えずただ運命に身を任せるのが私たちには一番かもしれない。
I guess it would explain why Shannon and Cannon just stood by while everyone else got murdered in the dining room. It's because they have memories of the previous times. So, does that mean Genji also has memories of the previous times? Is that what being a quote-unquote furniture grants you, perhaps?
僕たちはただチェスの駒であればいいんだ。何を考えても考えなくてもどうせ魔女のチェス盤からは逃れられない。
Yeah.
後のお役目はどういびり殺されるかただ待つことだけさ。そんな僕らに黄金鏡の夢なんて虚しすぎる。
What a sad existence. To be known that no matter what you do, you're still a mere pawn at a chessboard. But still, you know, you have to fight, try to figure out something.
そうだね。ごめん。
Cannon shrugged his shoulders and told Shannon to leave him alone because she was in the way of his duty, distancing himself from her. realizing her thoughtlessness in bringing up such an inappropriate topic and instead hurted Cannon, Shannon bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. Shannon wouldn't bother him anymore. She went off and crouched down in the corner by herself. At that moment, Ken perked up. It was like the ears of a cat when it reacts to a strange sound.
どうしたの？
旦那様、誰か来ます。
Oh shit.
何？
They ended their conversation and strained their ears. For a while they couldn't hear anything. But eventually they were able to hear the shuffling sounds of a large group of people walking.
おいでなすったわね。
年貢の納め時か、さもなくも最初で最後のチャンスか。
Who is he gonna be?
私が金蔵さんと話しましょう。なんとかここの場所を聞き出してみます。
期待してるわ。
During the last phone call, Kyrie had asked what the time over the guest house was. By doing that, Kyrie had learned that it was the same as her watch, and she had learned that their watches hadn't been set back. Really, it wasn't just the clocks in the walls in the guest house. Several people's watches, including George's and Goda's, had matched. If that was the case, there had only been a few minutes between the time of the massacre in the dining hall and the time they had been transported to the dungeon. Not enough time had passed for them to be knocked out and carried away. Then, were those really pitfalls, meaning that this was the area directly underneath the dining hall? All that they could do was pray that Nanjo could find out where this was.
来ます。多分、人数は4人。親方様、並びに食堂に姿を現したうちの3人かと。
もう十分だ。君も後ろに下がりたまえ。あとは私たちで応対する。
シャノンちゃん、申し訳ないけど電話のところに座ってもらえる？スカートで電話を隠して。
あ、はい。
The shuffling came close, and there was the sound of a large door being opened in the hallway. The light they were apparently carrying illuminated the hall, stroking the walls with sharp, razor-like shadows. And then, the light from the lantern they held illuminated the prisoners through the bars. The bars' sharp shadows divided them up lengthwise. There were 4 silhouettes. It was Kinzo, Lono, Virgilia, and Gap.
後ろ宮家当主ゴールドスミス教のおなりでございます。皆様ご静粛。
Man, with all of you guys' magic, you still need to bring a fucking lantern down here?
ゴールドスミス？
親父殿のペンネームだ。怪しげな魔導書を書くとき、そういう名を署名しているようだ。
金蔵を英語風に？それならゴールドウェアハウスが正しいんじゃないの？
Oh god, here we go.
ウェアハウスは倉庫、ただ溜め込むに過ぎぬ。しかし私は金を生み出し、細工し、さらに価値を高めるのだ。スミスの方がよりふさわしいと思わんかね。
確かに無駄口を失礼しました。
金蔵さん、これはどういうことなんだね。ここは一体どこなんだ。
おや、我が友よ、思い出せんかね。さすがにその牢の中に入った経験はないだろうが、この廊下を歩いた記憶はあるはずだ。
The prison?
まさか。
心当たりがあるの？
いや、しかし考えられない。第一、私たちは落とし穴に落ち、 しかもほんの数分でここに閉じ込められたのですわ。そんなことは物理的に距離的にありえない。
人間にはね。
お父さん、ここは屋敷ですか？屋敷にこんな力があったとは。
フラウス、お前たちがその存在をささやき、何度か私の後をつけ回して探ろうともしたではないか。
Son of a bitch is the other mansion.
それがここだよ。いや、正確にはそこの地下と言うべきか。
Wait, Nanjo's been to the second mansion?
まさかここはクワドリアンの地下ですか？
Kuradoran. Kuradoran? Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Kuradoran.
ご検察の通りです。こちらはクワドリアンの地下でございます。
クワドリアン、まさか噂の親父殿の隠し屋敷なのか？本当に実在したのか？
Son of a bitch.
我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェのためだけに築いた屋敷である。
So if all the clocks matched up to the exact same time, and I'm pretty sure last episode they said it was 10 minutes, how the fuck would they be able to get over here in 10 minutes?
地上部分は美しき上品な屋敷なのであるが、そこを案内できず実に残念に思うぞ。
Unless they're lying.
こんな牢屋があるお屋敷で二人きりなんて素敵ね。
But why would they lie?
どうもお父様とは性癖が合わないみたいよ。キリエさん、無礼な発言はお控えになった方が賢明ですよ。でも同感よ。私も送られた屋敷にこんな力があったら100年の恋も冷めて金目のものだけいただいてとんずらするわ。
おや、そういうご趣味はございませんか。てっきりキュンキュンしちゃうとばか
り。もちろんキュンキュンしちゃうわよ。誕生日のプレゼントに首輪なんかもらっちゃったりしたらね。ただしイケメンに限る。お静かに。首輪より猿靴輪が必要ですか？
I think she'll be in more into that than the collar.
あら、あなたはそっちもいけちゃうの？リアって好き嫌いないのね。勝手に人の名前を略さないでください。
ねえ、やかましいぞ女たち。
Let me go on my damn monologue, damn it!
お前たちも同じ牢に閉じ込められたいというのか。
これは失礼いたしました、親方様。この牢体にこのような寒い牢獄では身が持ちません。
You know what Kinzo reminds me of? What is that term in Japanese culture? A chimbyu. A chimbyu? Chumbyu? It's something chumbyu. Like Okabe from Steins Gate, for example, or Gundam Tanaka from Danganronpa 2. Those fucking chumbyu guys, or that stereotype of like, people who never really grew up after middle school, who like pretend to be like these fantastical people, like a mad scientist, for example, or like a magic user. That's what Kinzo kind of reminds me of. A chumbyu. Chumbyu? Chumbyu? I'm getting that wrong, I know I am, but it's like something chumbyu. Virtuia quickly apologized, but Garb and Wonov merely laughed together. It was like they thought they alone couldn't be imprisoned. Or else that even if someone tried to imprison them, it would be pointless.
牢とは捕らえ逃がさぬこと。それはすなわち生涯手放さぬとの強い意志と愛である。 逃げても諦められる程度の女ならば愛を語るに値しない。鎖で縛ってでも逃がしたくないと思うほどに苦しくなる女。
Yeah, I feel like you've had some experience with that, Kinzo.
そこまでに至ってこそ我が生涯を捧げるに値する愛である。お前にそれを分かれとは言わぬよ。
私は誰にも縛れない、縛られない。愛されたいんじゃないの、愛したいの。私もゴールドスミスと同じよ。だからよくわかるわ、あなたの愛の狂気。
愛と狂気は紙一重というわけかね。実に旗迷惑な話だ。
しかしあっさり所在地が分かったのは大きいわ。詳しい経緯は後で聞くけど、南條先生はここをご存知なのね。
はい。そこの廊下がクアドリアンの地下通路ならば、あの先をまっすぐ行けば長い地下道になり、それをずっと歩けば屋敷に戻れるはずだ。
この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば屋敷に帰れるってことね。
So there's a long tunnel, huh? That goes from Kumadora to the main mansion.
お父さん、私たちをどうするつもりですか？
Okay, so it is possible, well, depending on the speed you're going, within 10 minutes to go from the main mansion to here. There's like a big tunnel going from point A to point B.
すでに宣告した通り、お前たちは後の晩のための生贄である。都合よく人数も5人。えぐりて殺す5人の人質にぴったりであろう。
なるほど。私たちも年貢の納め時というわけですか。
やがてはな。だが今はそのために訪れたのではない。
Hey.
安心せよ。
You'll die, waiter. Don't worry. Just it's alright.
それに言ったはずだ。もしも孫たちの誰かが我が全てを継承するにふさわしいと認められたなら、この儀式は中断する。
Gee, I wonder who's gonna achieve your high standards, Kinzo.
つまりお前たちは命拾いをするというわけだ。
お子さんたちに何をするつもりですか？
次期当主にふさわしいかどうかテストを与える。その結果、私をうならせる者が一人でもいたならば儀式は中断する。
ふさわしい者がいなかったら子供たちはどうするつもりですか？
それを心配する必要はない。どうせ先に生贄とされるのはお前たちだ。その後のことなど知ったことではなかろうに、お前たちは自らの命運を自らの子供たちに委ねるのだ。お前たちが産み教え育ててきた結晶が子供たちだ。お前たちの命運を委ねるに実にふさわしい存在のはず。そう心配そうな顔をするなよ、クラウス。
God, really? In this episode, Kinzo's turned into like a Malkovanian villain.
お前の自慢の100億の価値のある娘を信じろよ。
まったくね。子供は親の結晶よ。親の命運を預けるにふさわしいわ。お父様にとってもね。
肝の据わった女だ。ルドルフにはもったいない。
キリエさん、 あまり挑発しない方がいい。
同感だ。今は耐えよ
そうね。どうせ私たちはまな板の上の恋よ。今さら何もできやしない。
私に対し威勢のいい口を叩くことはできるがな。嫌いではないぞ、そういう女は。ベアトリーチェも初めはそういう女だった。
親方様、そろそろ本題を。さっきから脱線しまくりです。
おお、そうであったな。すまぬすまぬ我が友よ。それでは本題に入ろう。そのために電話を用意しておいたのだ。シャノン、知恵が回るな。
Of course he knew about it.
もう隠さなくてもよいぞ。それは私が用意させたのだ。
失礼いたしました。
Janet quickly withdrew herself and the telephone was revealed.
クラウスよ。ゲストハウスの孫たちに電話をかけるがよい。そして我がテストを、試練の始まりを彼らに告げるのだ。
More note of motion for Klaus to pick up the receiver.
う。嫌だと言ったら。
ほほう。取引の余地がどこにあるというのか。
Oof.
お前が電話をせぬというなら、孫たちにはチャンスさえも与えぬ。後ろ宮家はこれにて終わり。お前たちは直ちに生贄だ。
直ちに生贄なら幸運よ。あなたたちの眼前で子供たちを先に生贄にされた方が辛いと思うけれど。
生贄の順番は親方様が決めます。勝手なことを言わないように。
リア、今私の名前を縮めようとして詰まったでしょ。
してません。だから勝手に人の名前を略さないように。
女は実に
かしましいですな。
Well then. Well, shit. Oh, Back to the Future. 1988. The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Nijima. Oh, nice. This aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different.
わざわざお越しくださり誠に申し訳ないのですが、特にお話しすることはありません。
I see you inherited your father's chubby face. Man. Nanjo Masayuki, Nanjo's son, took over the Nanjo clinic. Unlike Nanjo, he gives a slightly dispassionate, indifferent impression. After the commotion surrounding Rokkenjima, he grew to completely despise the press, and never again did he attempt to speak of what had happened at the time. He used to have a daughter who was afflicted with intractable disease, but fortunately she was unable to live out her natural lifespan. Nanjo's son said that very indifferent way.
あの島の事故がワイドショーなどで非常に不謹慎に取り上げられて以来、後宮氏の主治医であり友人でもあった父にも大変心外な関心が多数寄せられました。そのいずれもが何の根拠もなく、また父のそれまでの業績を汚すものでした。私はそれら全てについて未だに強く憤慨しています。
無理もないことと思います。私も同じようなものですので。私など6つの時から延々です。
そうでしたね。これは失礼。
The doctor finally remembered that Ange was also a victim and had been exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been.
そんなあなたなら当時の件にもう関わりたくないという私どもの気持ちもお分かりでしょう。あれは不幸な事故でした。それを事件だと騒ぎ立てたがるのは無責任なテレビと雑誌だけです。彼らの態度には心底うんざりさせられますよ。
Nanja had been bathed with attention for being one of Ushiro Mira's Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there was probably an aggressive and persistent rush among the witch hunters and the press to use Nanjo's son as well as surviving relative as a source of information. The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly.
お気持ちよくわかります。私生活に至るまで監視を受け、プライバシーも肖像権も、果ては人権さえも認められてたかわからない私ですから、そのやり場のないお怒り、よくお察しできます。だからこそ、私の人生をここまで台無しにしたあの事件は一体何だったのか、どうしても知りたいのです。それでここへ来ました。私もあなたと同じ当事者です。雑誌記者でもインタビュアーでもありません。そこを誤解しないでください。私は道楽でこんなところまで来たんじゃない。私を見下すのもいい加減にしてください。あの事件で狂わされた人生の傷跡比べをするならば、私とあなたでは比べ物にもならない。
Angie spoke sharply. The doctor, who had imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, couldn't help but fall silent. From Angie's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. She really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he'd said something wrong and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable.
当時のことを思い出すのは苦痛でしょうが、ご存知のことがあったら何でも教えてください。もちろん口外はしません。私は私の人生に決着をつけるために今日ここへ訪れています。私は18です。あの事件は私の人生の12年を奪った。そしてこれからも奪い続けるでしょう。私は6歳のあの日からずっと暗闇に放り込まれたままなんです。そんな私でも知る権利がないとおっしゃるんですか？
いや、失敬。たちの悪い連中ばかりが来ていたので、私もつい身構えてしまったようです。失敬したのをお詫びします。わかりました。他言無用を誓っていただけるなら何でもお話しします。
ありがとう先生。ではお願いします。何でも結構です。話してください。
知っての通り、父は後宮氏の主治医であると同時にチェスを通じた友人同士でもありました。その信仰は後宮氏がロッケン島に移り住んできた当時からのとても長いものでした。
どのくらい仲が良かったのですか？
相当だったようです。チェスの縁で先方の屋敷に厄介になることも少なくなかったようです。私の口から言うのもなんだが、後宮氏は非常に気難しい方でした。そして父はそんな人間と付き合うのに長けた非常におおらかな人だった。孤独な後宮氏にとって稀な友人であったことは想像に難しくないでしょう。
当日は親族会議でした。後宮家の親族会議は資産やその運用などについて厳しく問われるさながら経営会議のようなものだったとされています。そのような席にまで出席を求められるほどに南條先生は信頼を得ていたわけですね。
父は純朴な医師であり、後宮家のような富豪の財産運用について助言できるような立場にあったとは思えません。おそらく 当時の後宮氏は健康状態が優れられなかったでしょうから、その買添えとして呼ばれていたのでしょう。親友の父ならおそらく口も固く、親族会議上の秘密もきっと漏らさないと信頼されていたに違いない。
当時の後宮金蔵はかなり健康状態が悪かったのでしょうか。カルテが残っていたりはしますか？
Yeah, that would be helpful.
事故の当日はカルテを持参していたのでしょう。後宮氏のカルテは残念ながらフォルダごと失われています。父のクラン家ですし、私も詳しいことは分かりません。
Interesting.
事件の前後、何か気になるようなことはありました？
あるにはあります。ですが非常に誤解を招きそうなので、あまり言いたくはありません。
Look, we can take anything we can get by this point.
何ですか？それを教えてください。
For a while, the doctor beat around the bush. But after saying that much, he wouldn't be able to fool Ange by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in, and after making Ange swear herself to secrecy again, told her.
実はあの事故の数日後に私の自宅に郵便が届いたのです。
By mail.
郵便？
それはとても奇妙な郵便でした。
What the fuck?
差出人が私になっているのですが、それは身に覚えのないものでした。何者かが私の名を語って出したということです。
Huh. The sender was...
宛先は北海道の礼文島。北方領土の話を抜きにすれば日本の最北端の島です。
Northernmost tip.
その宛先人がなんと礼文島の住所ではありますが、父の名前だったのです。
What?
しかし送付先住所が間違っているらしく、住所不明の付箋が貼られて、差出人である私のところへ戻ってきたわけです。
Now what the fuck does this have to do with anything? It was truly a strange tale. Najo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Tomamasa on Hokkaido's Reborn Island. But the lot number went on it didn't exist. So the local post office had been unable to deliver it and instead sent back to the sender, Nanjo's son.
中身は何だったんですか？
本当に他言無用でお願いします。私も非常に迷惑しているんです。かといって捨てるわけにもいかず。
A letter of some kind. The doctor stood up and faced a bookshelf. There was packed a group of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental, meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope peeked out from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago.
くれぐれも他言無用でお願いします。
Being so persistent that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, hinting that there was something other than a letter inside. A weight. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Turomasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found, and he had eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido.
南條先生は本当に北海道に存在を、あるいは同姓同名の人物が北海道に。
父が何かの事情で事故を逃れ北海道で存命していたのだとしたら、私たち家族にとっては事情に関わらず嬉しいことです。
Yeah.
私も初めはその可能性を考えました。しかしこの封筒の送付先住所は存在しないのです。
It's What the fuck does this? I have this one. This is a monkey wrench. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? The sender, on this sender, it says it's Nanjo's son, sent to Nanjo himself to an address that doesn't exist at the northernmost point in Hokkaido. What the? Okay, I need to know what the hell is in it.
つまりこの封筒は届くはずのない郵便なのです。
送付者が正しい住所を書き損じた可能性は？
もちろん否定はできません。ですが住所の番地を見る限りどうもそうは思えないのです。
北海道礼文島礼文郡礼文町 1-2-34-567
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a very interesting address. Up until Reboon City, it's fine. But I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that the sequential number after it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, was a little insincere. Felt like a fake number that some kid had made up. I mean, yeah.
おそらく明らかに存在しない住所をデタラメに書いたのでしょう。この封筒は初めから存在せず届くはずのない住所に送付されたと考えるのが自然だと思います。
Which means whoever wrote it wanted Najo's son to get it, since they wrote his name as the sender, so it would be sent back to him. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. Exactly. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. So, interesting. So, you did say it was several days later, so... It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October 3rd. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima's a long way away from Weeburn Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was probably a high chance that having the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope was already wrapped in mystery. So it was marked October 3rd. And if I remember correctly, the family conference happened on the 4th and on the 5th. And the 6th, if I remember correctly.
どうぞ。
So what the hell is in it? After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From inside came a small folded letter and a small key with a number plate attached. Oh. Then a magnetic card slid out. A112 was engraved on the key's number plate. I don't know what it meant. The magnetic card was pitch black and had cold characters engraved in it. Members was written in English. The jet black gold-lettered card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. Debit card, maybe? I unfolded the letter, or maybe just a membership card. But to what? Its contents were extremely brief, and only the following was written. No fucking way. 071511129. Those same fucking numbers. When did we see those? That was episode 3. or is it episode 2? It was when... Fuck, when was that goddamn number when... fuck, who just died? Because they found it after they found someone else's corpse. And they try to describe it as like some type of date, perhaps. Twice now, this same fucking sequence of numbers. Also, Win was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout all Japan, as well as the word Central Branch. That was all.
これは
That number sequence, Major Bank, Central Branch, membership card. There's only one thing I can think of. It has to be connected to Tokyo in some way. But why? Why send it to Nanjo's son?
貸金庫のカードと鍵、そして暗証番号でした。
Oh, it's a PIN number.
それも普通の貸金庫ではない。特別な顧客のみに許されているらしい不気味な貸金庫でした。
Huh. After he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he had visited the bank. Pin and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was kept there, and he had been naturally curious about what it might be. At first, he hadn't known what to do. The card wasn't something he owned in the first place. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status and was guided to a large vault in the 4th basement. The security in the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as real estate transcripts and safe deposit boxes before. But this was something on a whole different level.
私の使っている貸金庫の手続きと違い、カードと暗証番号、そして鍵を持っているならば、本人確認は行われないというシステムでした。
Damn, a card, pen, key.
ですが、とにかく厳重な金庫室で、その物々しさに怯えました。こんなところに預けざるを得ない、どんな物騒なものが待ち受けているのかと。
それで
カードをリーダーに通すと暗証番号の入力を求められました。そしてそこにある8桁の数字を入力すると認証され、金庫室への入室が認められました。
So if that number sequence is a goddamn PIN number, why the fuck was it written in blood on the wall?
すごい光景でしたよ。まるで SF 映画のような世界だった。薄暗い銀色の広大な部屋にびっしりと金庫の扉が埋め尽くされているのです。
He had entered the room along with the clerk. It seems that as soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were determined, so that the safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one.
A11 にはそれらの金庫のうちの一つを示すものでした。ちなみにそれ以外の金庫にもずらりと緑ランプが点灯していました。
I need to go back and see Nanjo's reaction to that number then, back in episode 2 or episode 3. Because if it's a PIN number...
20個以上はあったと思います。あるいは他の一角にももっとあったのかも。いずれにせよ、私の鍵は A11 にのみ。他の金庫の中身を確かめる術はありませんでしたが。
Okay, so the PIN had access to multiple vaults. It's just you have to have the key to the specific deposit box. As the clerk watched, the doctor unlocked and opened the safe. What was in it? When he did, a safe drawer like a cabinet had opened. An expensive-looking durarium case peeked out. That was carried into a separate room where for the first time the clerk left and he was introduced to the contents.
中身は
金でした。
Cash.
現金どれほど？
新札の100万円の束はちょうど厚みが1センチになると聞いたことがあります。それがこれだけのジュラルミンケースの中にびっしり詰められていたのですから、多分1億はあったでしょう。
Shit.
数えたわけではないから分かりません。手すら触れませんでしたから、私はすぐに直感しました。これは危険な金だと。
It isn't normal to store a whole 100 billion yen in cash in a case in a safe like that. It's much easier to deal with if you put it into account into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, then it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash.
私は頭が真っ白になり、すぐに関わり合ってはならないと直感しました。
それで一切手をつけなかった。
はい。そのまま施錠し直し、元の金庫に預けて立ち去りました。この鍵やカードも捨てようと思いましたが、何が起こるかわからない。そのため誰にも内緒で12年もの間、本棚の裏に隠し続けてきたのです。あれが何の金だったのか、私にも未だにわかりません。
この封筒をお借りすることはできますか？
いえ、この場で見るだけにしてください。
わかりました。ではちょっと失礼します。調べ物を。
I took Oni-chan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. Then I opened to a page with the paragraph Beatrice had written to Oni-chan and compared the handwriting on both. It's not the same. There is no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. The one who had sent this 100 million yen in cash was Beatrice herself. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck? What the fuck's going on? So, okay, it was written on October 3rd. Then it was investigated for a week by the post office. Then it was sent back to Nanjo. So its recipient was Nanjo's son. Why? And also, 100 million yen. 100 million in cash. What the fuck's the point of that? Because... No. I'm trying to think of a way, like... It could have been by mistake. There's no way in hell it was by mistake that it was sent to Nanjo's son. But why? What the hell would be the point to give Nanjo's son 100 million in cash? Why? What? Then, but the other big question I have is why write the fucking PIN number in blood on a wall within the mansion itself? To indicate it to somebody else? But how would they find out that PIN? What the fuck? But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be? The hell?
そんな郵便物が確か届いた気がしますわ。母ちゃん、あれはどこにしまったっけな?
The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. Kumasawa's son as well? I might as well just check this. Kumasawa Sabakichi. Kumasawa's son works at the Nijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree, big-hearted personality from Kumasawa. Kumasawa had many sons, and a number of them were away from land as fishermen. It was purely a coincidence it was possible to come into contact with him, as he had happened to be involved with the fishing harbor. Hopes are on him that he might have heard chatty Kumasawa with something important slip. but he had been very busy in the days since and seems to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Ange mentioned it to him. After a bit of a wait, his fin-whipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he had always forgotten where he put things right away. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was the same as Nanjo's sons. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiro. And the destination address was in the Okinawa Prefecture. Okinawa Prefecture, Yame Country, Yanguchi City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yanguchi Island was at the westernmost tip of Japan. And the lot name was the exact same sequential number that had been chosen without much care. So we got the northernmost tip and the westernmost tip now. That was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with a pin and the big main branch went on it. A magnetic card. A key with an attached number plate. The inscription on the number plate was A113. The number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Nanjo. Most likely inside the vault was the same kind of aluminum case packed with 100 million yen in cash.
死んだお袋がメイドから送ってきたような気がしてね。中身もよくわからんし、薄気味悪いんでずっとほったらかしにしてて、今日まですっかり忘れてたんですわ。
So it's being sent to the relatives. But why? 100 million yen? For what reason? As compensation? As money to, I don't know, say sorry for killing your dad or ma. But what the fuck would be the point of that?
お嬢さんはこれが何かご存知なんですかね。ひょっとしてあんたんとこにも同じものが。
どうしたんです、エンジ様。ウリュウ、頭痛ごめん、頭が痛い。刺さってる。知ってるって何を。まさかこの封筒エンジ様のところにも。
I've remembered. A strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. What? After losing my entire family, I was depressed. But it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so I still had a faint memory of it. It was a strange letter which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as the sender. I forgot the destination address, but the name recipient had been Ushuo Mira Rudolph, my father. I remember how disturbed I was when I got a letter I thought was from father, opened it up, and found a key and a card that I didn't really understand. I felt let down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? I probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now I have no way of checking its contents. However, I have a general idea. I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there had been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope.
Beatrice. これは何のつもりよ?
The only other thing I can think of is like, is it kind of like hush money? Like in some roundabout way, it's hush money to like make the relatives shut the fuck up about discussing their families. That's the only way I can. That would make sense for this.
あいつは全ての遺族にこんなふざけた金をばらまいたというの？死んだ後も苦労するなんて許せない。
ウリュウ、エンジェ。
Sakatoru acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit.
ごめんなさい。ベアトリーチェ憎しは今に始まったことじゃないわ。あの6歳の日にもうすでにあの魔女と縁があったことに驚きと怒りを感じただけよ。
この12年間エンジェ様はずっとベアトリーチェ様の呪縛にとらわれてきた。これがそのまさに呪縛の証となるのかもしれません。ですがどうかしっかりそれを打ち破るための旅でもあるはずです。
そうね。頭に血を上らせたって何の役にも立たないわ。冷静に考えなくちゃ。これはどういうことなの？遺族に1億円をばらまく意味は何？挑発だとでも言うの？ベアトリーチェめ。
エンジェ、落ち着いて。ウリュウ。
The secretary buried his head in my stomach. He urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking.
この封筒の送付はつまりベアトリーチェによる事件の計画性を裏付けるものかしら。
消印は親族会議の直前、そしてわざと時間をかけて返送されてくるように仕組まれている。
Yeah, it was on a timer.
事件の後に届くようにしたかったということかな。
I wonder if it was Kinzo. He would obviously have the ring to do it. It's before the conference. And I guess it would be compensation in his own mind about sacrificing their loved ones in his, ceremony. That type of thing. That's the only thing that would make sense. Either that or it's hush money. Simple as that.
うん。そうなるわ。でも少し疑問もあるの。
I mean, Kinzo would have the capital to have like a couple hundred million yen on, payroll. Plus, he's probably going to die anyway, so what does he have to lose?
なぜこんな不確実な方法で？
Good question.
不確実？
ええ。だって何日で郵便が戻ってくるかなんて事前には想像もできないじゃない。郵送先の郵便局が調査し、送付先不明と判断し返送するまでの期間なんて普通は想像もできない。
そういえばそうだね。ちゃんと到着の期日を決めてそういう郵便で出した方が確実なのにね。ウリュウ。まあでも前日に投函したんならどんなに早く戻ってきてもきっと月曜日以降の到着になったでしょうし、死者からの手紙を気取りたかったんじゃないかしら。
死者からの手紙か。確かにね。あれは驚くし嫌な気持ちになるわよ。死んだ家族の名前が表に大きく書かれている郵便物が
To drive the mystery home?
物々しい付箋付きで郵便受けに放り込まれているんだから。
Just add another monkey wrench into this whole incident. 100 million yen.
でも私は何か腑に落ちないわ。
But why?
私だったら期日指定郵便にする。ひょっとしたら想定しない日に届くかもしれないという不安定さが私にはどうしても理解できないの。
ウリュウ。でも確かにそういうのベアトらしいかなって思う。
What do you think's up the chance?
え？あなたベアトのことわかるの？
ちょっとしかお話ししたことないけど、でもベアトならこういうことをするかなってのがなんとなくわかるの。マモンもなんとなく想像がつかない？ベアトってこういういたずら好きだよね。確かにそうかも。ベアドリージュ様なら死者からの手紙みたいな悪質ないたずらはやりかねないと思います。それだけじゃなくて 絶対確実な方法じゃなくて、ちょっぴり不確実な方法の方をベアトリーチェは面白がるの。
Yeah.
不確実な方法を面白がる。
Does make sense with Beto. I remembered Mirione-chan's diary. It described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Beto sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives of Maria. But those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics, which was that they were more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Mirione-chan and Beto decided to use a wind-up minicar she had bought for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time, and if you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the springs and the tires, and when you let go, it would race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, Oni-chan and Beto had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it, but no one moved the trapped milk jug, and the trap ended in a misfire. When Oni-chan and they had then muttered we should have put it somewhere where it would have definitely caught someone, Beto apparently said this. She said, "The most interesting and thrilling traps are those where you don't know who will get caught, or even if anyone will get caught at all." It's probably true that you wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. Yeah. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't spin the chessboard around to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. As Ange examined these, her gaze darted from place to place. Then she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa was in several. And she still wore a smile that made it so you could almost hear her wide-hearted ho-ho-ho laugh. It's part of my distant memory, but I never remember that she was this sort of cheerful old lady.
熊沢さんは事件の直前に変わった様子はありましたか？
いや、いつも通りに見えたな。親族会議はピリピリするから辛い辛いと漏らすのはいつものことでしたし。
これは？
Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. You couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit, as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some characters had been written with a pen.
ああ、それはお袋の形見分けでもらってきた写真ですわ。多分例の黄金伝説に関係したやつではないかと。
It's a picture of the chapel.
魔女の碑文ですか？10トンの黄金の隠し場所を示すと噂される。熊沢さんも挑んでおられたんですね。でもこれは碑文じゃない。初めて見るものです。
There was an arch above the Western-style door, and that's where the relief was. English words were engraved there, and that seemed to be what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appears to be a translation to Japanese.
この扉は1000兆分の1の確率でしか開かない。あなたは1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されない。
Probability of a quadrillion to 1. Huh.
知らないわ。
I'm pretty sure. Was that above the chapel? Because if I remember correctly, I feel like there was something above the chapel doors, but I don't think it was that. Because I feel like I would have remembered that. Maybe it was. It's been a while since episode 2.
こんな文章碑文にもお姉ちゃんの日記にも出てこない。
お袋の遺品の中に碑文の謎解きに挑戦してると思われる写真やノートが結構出てきたんですわ。お袋も案外そういうのが好きだったんだな。なんでも10トンの金塊が隠されてたって噂だ。そりゃあお袋も夢中になるはずですわ。
In both Marione Chen's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It had talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, Beatrice's succession ceremony, on and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part, about it being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold in the usual Miura family inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch, as we saw before. Among the usual Miura family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz which the family head Kinzo had arranged for her to choose as successor. But with the Marie Sorare interpretation, the questionnaire was Beatrice herself. And she had posed the question prior to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. Either way, its ominous contents brought to mind a bloody serial number, murder, and both of the message bottles drew a tale of a crime following that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. Something about liver. It seems that many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the Wapata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. However, neither of these theories were conclusive.
他にも資料が？
あると思うけど、兄弟で適当に分けたからな。誰が何を持ってるやらさっぱりですわ。申し訳ない。
この熊沢さんが撮影した英文だけ読むと、めったに開かれない開かずの扉という印象を受ける。でもこれは屋敷のどこかしら。光の具合から屋外みたいだけど、熊沢さんはこの中にその黄金が隠されていると睨んでたのかしら。
さあ、いずれにせよ六軒島の屋敷のどこかでしょうな。お袋の預金口座には残念だが黄金を発見したと思えるようなお金は入ってませんでしたよ。さすがに見つからんかったんでしょうな。
The Golden Witch Beatrice gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Ushua Miura family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans in Rokkenjima on that day, sending large amounts of money to their surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is the desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced. When my family died on that island that day, they didn't go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. Yeah, a bit closer to the truth than you think, Ange. The last place Ange visited was a store in the region between the housing district and retail stores with a signboard saying Mafuku Sweep Shop. There lived the man who had been the boat captain of the ferry boat to Rokkenjima at the time. Wow. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness, and was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife.
よく覚えてる。
Karabata. To see. An old man who used to captain the high-speed boat that went to Rokkenjima and back. It is beyond doubt that of the existing survivors, he is one of those who know the most about Rokkenjima. From various comments by the servants who used to go to and from the island, the media hoped that he might be quite knowledgeable about the internal affairs of the Ushio family. However, he would say nothing, and so they eventually began to forget about this old man.
あんたまだこんなに小さかった。立派になったな。そしてさぞやつらかっただろう。お前さんの気持ちよくわかるぞ。
The former boat captain was in such high spirits that you couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear too. He could remember the events of more than a decade ago well, apparently even about how Ange had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Ange, but at the same time he also remembered the final family conference very well. And the fact that he remembered even details like Battlewars' fall madness on the boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross to Rokkenjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an order of a boat to make the voyage. It had been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokkenjima, so if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless.
わかってる。今あの島に行きたがる船なんぞ簡単には見つからんだろう。今じゃ六軒島と呼ばず古い名前の悪食島と呼ぶ者までおる。この辺りの船乗りじゃ首を縦には振るまいな。
From the start, fishermen had feared Rokkenjima as an island of misfortune, and because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There was almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokkenjima, and were limited to taking a trip around the island. Ironically, this had caused a sense of mystery surrounding Rokkenjima to increase even more, which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they love so much.
船は出してもらえるでしょうか。
うん。明日だけ返してもらう約束になっとる。最近はエンジンがだいぶご機嫌斜めらしいがな。かっ飛ばしてやるわい。
Well then, the former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokkenjima. Now, my method of transport to Rokkenjima is ensured. This is probably all I can do on Nijima. And all that's left is tomorrow. On Rokkenjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years.
よかったね。これで島へ行けるようになったね。
そうね。船を見つけるのは難しいと聞いていたから、船長が協力的で助かったわ。
エンジェ様ほどではないにしても、船長にとっても12年前の事件は未だ抜けないトゲなんでしょうね。ウリュウ、船長さんも心の整理がつかなかったんだね。ずっと。そりゃそうでしょう。約束通り10月5日にあのじいさんが船を出してくれれば大勢が助かった可能性がある。ちょっと風が強いからといって船を渋らなければ。ウリュウ、そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ。船長さんもそれを今日までずっと苦しんできたはずだよ。
This is very interesting. This is a very interesting section here because it shows us the people who were affected by this, not the immediate family, but the people who were kind of left behind in a sense, really, like Najo's son, Kumasawa's son, and even hell, the boat captain. It's not really things you would think about, but I mean, it is true for real life, the people who were left behind during, these, mysteries, these cold cases of, say, the demon, what was it called again? it was some incident in Russia where a bunch of college kids went on a trip to a mountain, and their bodies were found about a week later, and they were all naked, and apparently they ran in snow or something like that. Well, there's a lot to the pass incident. There's a proper name for it, but I can't remember at the time. But I remember there was this one person who was a friend of that group who was supposed to go on that trip, but he was just sick that day when they went on that trip. And so it's reminding me of this, actually, of, you know, the people left behind, in a sort of sense, the victims of, like, you know, the people who go missing within these cold cases, these mysteries, these mysterious events, you could call it. But I really like how this game is shining a light on those people. In a sense, with this section, I really like it, actually. Apparently, that they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rokkenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their confluence, which had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault. But perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Generally, just as those two said, there's no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And by taking me, the last member of the usual mirror line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for his past.
船は昼過ぎに帰ってくることになってる。それからあんたを六軒島へ案内するから、到着は夕方前になるだろう。電気も明かりもない島だ。あまり長いはできんぞ。その程度の上陸で、あんたの気は済むかね。
長い下から何かの気が済むというものでもありませんし、船を出してもらえるだけでも感謝します。
うん、すまんな。わしが船を手放していなければケチなことを言わず好きなだけ島へ案内してやれるんだが。
It's not like I have the goal of doing something particular in Rokkenjima, so I'll be there during the evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 1998 and 1986, and felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Makusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I headed back and told him about how I had succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow.
それはよかった。そろそろ参りましょう。船長、明日はよろしくお願いします。
おう、任せておけ。お前さんたちの難儀な事情も聞いとる。わしも当時のワイドショーを見ていて、面白半分に事件をかき回す連中に虫唾が走っとったもんだ。協力は惜しまんよ。
ありがとうございます。それでは明日お昼に。これ船代に。
And she took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but he paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head.
わしはお前さんに感謝しとるよ。これは天のお導きだ。あんたを六軒島へ連れて行き、そして無事に連れ帰る最後のチャンスをくださったんだ。わしは金蔵さんに任されていた最後の仕事を今 ようやく終えることができる。だからあんたには感謝してる。金は当時の金蔵さんからたらふくもらってる。あんたから取れんよ。
ありがとうございます。
Try to forgive himself.
階段足元に気をつけてな。
Isn't that something, huh? Doing it just to finish his job that he wasn't able to do 12 years ago. Yeesh. God.
急だぞ。
I went down the steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store with many futons piled up in each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
孫の部屋が空いとる。泊まって行っても構わんのに。見ての通り、布団なら有り余っとるぞ。
ありがとうございます。万一の時、ご迷惑はかけられませんので。
事情は知らんが、相当な厄介に巻き込まれてるようだな。うさんくさい連中が人探しをしていると噂になっとる。あんたのことじゃないのかね。
さあ。
Ange pretty dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
わしは六軒島を目指す客人を送り届け、そして迎えに行き、連れ帰ることが仕事だった。その仕事を12年前に中断したまま、まだ終えてない。だからわしは、あんたのおかげでその仕事をようやく終えることができるんだ。だから、わしにその仕事を終えさせてくれよ。わかってるな。
ええ。別に私は死にに行くんじゃない。
But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go to where my family is. I finally became aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way heading towards Rokkenjima in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die.
ええ、死にません。約束します。そもそも私、どうして六軒島に行かなくてはならないのかの目的さえ、未だにあやふやなんですから。
いや、目的はきっとある。あんたにないなら、それは彼らにあるんだ。島があんたを呼んだ。だからあんたはここまで来たんだ。
そうかもしれませんね。私は呼ばれたのかもしれない。
I was called. For what reason? For them, father, mother, Badaroni-chan, Maria Oni-chan, or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokkenjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. I don't know why, but I was thinking of Lost. We have to go back to the island gate. We have to go back. Anyway, there was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard.
それでは明日、失礼します。
Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then my feet stopped.
どうしたね？
あれは？
あれ？はて、何の話だね？
Oh boy, what the hell is it? Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain scripted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That must mean... That must mean...
ありえない。
What?
どうして。ウリュウ。
What is this epic music?
エンジェ、どうして。
Why is this really epic music?
どういうことなのこれは。
私にだってさっぱりだわ。そんなバカなことってあるの？
The fuck are you talking?
これは魔法なの？奇跡なの？
Miracle?
ええ。多分これは運命よ。私は今理解したわ。これが私の使命だったのよ。
ウリュウ。私には何が何だか。
What is it? Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up.
どうしたんだね。何があるんだね。わからん。わしにはわからん。あんたには何が見えてるのかね。
ありがとう船長。全部これは運命だったんです。
What?
ここに私が訪れることさえ運命だった。これが私がロッケン島へ行く目的で使命なんです。
What is it?
エンジさん、どうしました？トラブルですか？
わしにもさっぱりわからん。お嬢ちゃんが暗がりを指さしたまま固まっちまったんだ。
エンジさん、大丈夫ですか？何が見えるんですか？
あなたたちには見えないの？それよそれ。見えないの？
見えるのはただの陳列棚です。誰も言いやしませんぜ。
Spoy case.
ウリュウ。エンジェ。僕には何が何だかわからないよ。これは夢なの？魔法なの？
What the fuck is it?
どういうことなの？エンジェ。
Secretary lifted his face towards Ange. From her eyes slid a single tear.
エンジェ様。
理解したわ。お姉ちゃん。そしてベアトリーチェ。
What?
ウリュウ。
This is magic, isn't it? What is it? What about Badwer and Beatrice? Don't you fucking cut away, damn it! He fucking blue-balled me! You son of a bitch!
テストって。
God damn it, Ryukyushi! God damn it, alright. What's the test? Once again, there was a call from Klaus to the guest house. The message was that Kinzo wanted to hold a test to see if the grandchildren had the qualifications to become his successor.
当主様は次期当主。お父さんたちの兄弟からではなく、孫たちの中から選びたいと、そうおっしゃっている。
From Klaus's restrained style of speech, Jessica realized as his daughter that he was being forced to speak. Yet she was forced to realize that hostages were being exposed to danger even now, and that if they refused this test, there was a possibility that the hostages would be harmed.
それで私たちはどうすればいいの？
待て。
Klaus put down the receiver, then looked at the grinning Kinzo on the other side of the bars. Kinzo gave his next order.
テストの前に 無関係なものを排除しなくてはならない。合田と熊沢がそこにいるのであろう。テストに干渉されては邪魔なのでな。彼らをゲストハウスより追放せよ。
追放ですか？
バラ庭園に園芸倉庫があったはず。そこへ合田と熊沢を閉じ込めて施錠せよ。まずはそれからだ。直ちに遂行するように伝えよ。我が文具たちが監視する。疑わしい行為に及べばテストは直ちに中止し、お前たち全てを生贄として処刑する。
Son of a bitch.
わかりました。もしもしジェシカ、今から父さんの言うことをよく聞きなさい。
Cross relayed the orders to lock up Goda and Kumasawa.
どんなテストをなさるつもりですか？
実に簡単なテストだとも。孫たちの覚悟を見せてもらうだけだ。さて、どんな結果を見せてくれるのか。
The resolve. Looking disgusted, Curie watched Klaus, who was talking with the children. I hate it, but for now we cannot refuse orders. In this dungeon, a feeble resistance won't amount to anything. If we provoke him too much and drive him into a position where he might kill us, there will no longer be any way to stop this murderer. For now, the only choice left is to obey his rules without agitating him, all the while waiting for an opportunity. However, if we continue to obediently follow his commands, the children might be attacked in this so-called test, and they might even lose their lives. Whether we feign obedience or try to resist, nothing will cause the situation to improve. Anyway, shutting our eyes so that we don't let a single chance escape until the very end is the only resistance possible now. While telling herself this, Curie watched over Klaus as he delivered Kinzo's orders.
キリエさん、ここは辛抱しましょ
う。分かってるわ。悔しいけれど今は待つしかない。この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば私たちは屋敷へ戻ることができるんだから。
なんとかここを出られれば試してみましょう。金蔵さん、頼みがある。
Okay, a little bathroom.
何か我が友よ。
金蔵さんが子供たちを試したいというのはよくわかった。金蔵さんの納得のいくようにするといい。金蔵さんの力がなければとっくに潰れていたかもしれない後ろ宮家だ。
Yes, sure as eagle. Ego.
その担い手を慎重に選びたい気持ち、よくわかる。それにそのための親族会議だ。私ら邪魔はせんよ。
お前の理解が得られて助かる。そうだ、これは親族会議なのだ。私が次期当主を選び決定する最後の親族会議なのだよ。
それでだが金蔵さん、ここはあまりに冷えすぎる。あんたのテストの邪魔はせんから、もう少し暖かい場所に移してもらうことはできんかね。
At Nanjo's words, the slight signs that Kinzo's mood had been improving were blown away. Fuck. Nanjo was struck with a moment of silence as Kinzo gazed at him with dangerous eyes as though appraising him.
確かにここは冷えますね。老輩にはおつらいでしょう。親方様、上の部屋に移し替えても良いのでは。
それはできん。甘いぞ南條。 お前は一手猶予を与えるような素振りで実に華麗に布石を打つではないか。その手には乗らんぞ。凍えるというなら真っ赤に焼けた石炭でも敷き詰めてやればよい。
申し訳ございません。
Virtually, I tried to help out, but in the end, Kinzo would not comply.
あなたたちはおとなしいのね。その気になればこんな鉄格子簡単に破れるでしょうに。
ここを破ったとて何もなりません。
確かにここを破ったならゴールドスミスのゲームが終わることを意味する。あなたたちも、そしてゲストハウスの人間たちも即座に金蔵の儀式の生贄となるでしょうね。でも案外あなたたちだけかもしれないわよ。この状況を打開できる力を持っているのはね。
Shit, maybe I was right. That furniture doesn't count, which would be Shannon, Cannon, and Genji. Since, as we see here with Shannon and Cannon, they remember past cycles. Because, you know, they mentioned, the first Twilight and them going through this again, and them being pieces on the chessboard. Genji don't know much about, but he acts the same way, so it wouldn't be surprising. So my theory about furniture not being corroborated as humans may still hold water. So that means there's 3 extra people on the island. 3 actual humans.
黄金鏡にたどり着きたいんでしょ。叶えたい夢がいっぱいあるんでしょ。
ガーフ、挑発はいけませんよ。これはあなたのゲームではない。親方様、そしてお嬢様のゲームです。
どうしたロノ
いえいえ、何も。捕虜とおしゃべりをしていました。お許しを。
Greg sent one final sneering smile at Cannon, then turned away. Cannon could only bite his lower lip and shake his fist.
くそ。よく頑張ったね。よく我慢したよ。
僕たちは無力だ。家具だから。
そうだね。私たちは無力。でも家具は必要とされることだって、そして愛されることだってあるよ。今の私たちは暗い地下室にしまわれているだけ。きっといつか誰かが愛してくれる。必要としてくれるから。だから今は挑発に乗らないで耐えようね。
お父さん、ゴーダたちを倉庫に閉じ込めるよう指示をしました。
よかろう。電話を切ってよい。シエスタ姉妹、孫たちがゴーダと熊沢を閉じ込めるのを監視せよ。もしも不審な動きがあるようならば、その時点で次期当主を選ぶテストは終了だ。
When Kinzo made his order, the Cheshire sisters appeared behind him in a line.
了解であります。石膏は私がやる。556と410は両翼支援。45は全集警戒。
00-556は。
そうだった。すまない。
いい子でした。だから私は嫌いに。いいやつは。
何をしているかシエスタ姉妹。
Shut the fuck up and just do it!
我が命令を遂行せよ。
失礼しました。では監視に向かうであります。出撃。
The Cheshire sisters erased their forms simultaneously. Nanjo and Kyrie had witnessed the instance. They appeared and disappeared as if by teleportation. But they interpreted this as moving in and out of the darkness in a way that only looked like teleportation. And the two could do nothing but rub their eyes.
さて、私はテストの準備をしよう。ロノウェ、ガープ、お前たちには試験官を頼む。ワルギリアはこやつらを監視するように。何しろ我が家具が2人いる。一応は警戒せよ。
He glanced at Shannon Cannon. Tightly closing her eyes, Shannon gave a somewhat bowed answer wordlessly, avoiding any unnecessary actions.
かしこまりました。注意します。
リーアの老体には寒くて辛くない？湯たんぽでも持ってくる？
うるさいです。早く追いきなさい。ガッ
さてさて、テストとは、そして試験官とは、今回のゲームは変わった試みですね。お嬢様を楽しませる展開になると良いのですが。
さあさあおいでなさい、ヤギの従者たち。
Boy. Damn goatman. Bearjoy began to call out into the darkness, and from that spot, 3 massive goat-headed attendants suddenly appeared.
リーチの眷属ね。便利だわ。しかも暖かそうだし。ああ、湯たんぽの代わりね。なら、ヤギより羊の方がいいんじゃない？
カシミヤ雑巾のくせにうるさいですよ。彼らは賢くはありませんが、命令に忠実で強靭な頼れる従者たちです。
任せるぞ。我が友ワルギリアよ。残りの者は私と来い。
With a dignified gesture, Kinzo footed his cloak. Following him were Wonov and Gap, as well as the 3 recently summoned goat attendants.
あなたたちは私と残るのですよ。ついていかないように。
The goat jumped in surprise that they came tottering back. Kyrie, who had been watching stunned as all this played out, couldn't help but snort.
愉快な部下ね。ゴールドスミス教より死後の許可は与えられていませんよ。
She was probably embarrassed. Bearjoy had spoke coolly, but Kyrie saw through that, and for a little while she couldn't restrain her muffled laughter. However, on the inside, Kyrie was surprised at the number of people Kinzo had with him. After all, including Kinzo himself, at least 10 enemies had already been spotted. Yeah, the dungeon they were currently locked in was supposedly underneath the hidden mansion called Kuradoran. Although this mansion had been whispered of, not even Cross had known of its existence until today. Are there actually several facilities like this in Rokkenjima, where many unknown henchmen that only Kinzo knows of hide? Just how many humans are on Rokkenjima walked away by the typhoon? 18. According to Ava, Beatrice. No, on the contrary. Were we the only ones under the impression that there were only 18 people on this island? Were we, who bickled over whether Beatrice existed or not and worried about whether a 19th person existed or not, nothing more than the frogs in a well on this island? No, wait, not only that. By now, are there actually more people on the enemy side than on ours? By this point, yeah.
何が起こってるの？一体。
Yeah, you know, take a screenshot of this, and this is just, yeah, this is the Umineko experience.
魔女、悪魔、魔法。それを信じろというの？
Man, fuck if I know,
お
man.
かしいのは私の目？それとも頭なの？頭がどうにかなりそうよ。
Yeah, this is the first time Kyrie's actually seen all this crazy bullshit, you know? The most, like, really, grounded person, you know, not really connected to the family's, you know, inheritance, all that. Well, a little bit here and there, you know, with her husband. But, really, the most outside person besides Nanjo, not really included within all of the family drama and shit. A mass murder by magic, demons forming and disappearing into thin air, setting aside the enemy's numbers. How should we interpret the various things thrust before our eyes that cannot be explained with the common sense of our world? Curie started to feel like she didn't know what was going on anymore. And while desperately battling the urge to abandon everything and give up, she grit her teeth and tried to hold on to her sanity. Oh, poor Curie. Okay. I think this is a good stopping point, and god damn it, why did it what the fuck did Angie see? Damn it. Why you gotta brewball me like that, Ryukushi, you son of a bitch? God damn it. Display case, Battler, and Beatrice, what the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. And then we also have the whole thing of 100 million yen being sent to the relatives of the people who died, specifically Kumasawa and Nanjo. So what the hell is that all about, too? Like, is it hush money? Is it, like, cover-up money? So, like, something like that? Compensation? Like, what the hell is the point of that? Maybe Beatrice felt bad for them? Like, but... No, that won't make sense. Dude, it just... The more and more we get into this, the more and more questions I have. That's just when they cry in a nutshell. Like, I feel like... I don't know, I've answered a couple questions, but at the same time, over 15 new ones have appeared, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but by God, is it fucking... Is it something? Why the hell would they... In the whole... That, you know, number, it's actually a pin number for the vault. Why the hell would it be drawn on a wall, written in blood? What the hell would be the point of that, of the pin number? So it isn't Nanjo's... Okay, so as I thought before, I thought it was like Nanjo's personal pin number. I guess it is just the pin number to get into the vault to get the multiple cases of 100 million yen. But, for what reason would that pin number be written in blood on the wall? Why the fuck would it be written in there? Why? Christ. I feel like I'm going mad. I always say that at the end of this, but I feel like this episode especially, like, holy shit. So many more questions have been just propped up. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this type of content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, want to tell me something, put it down in the comments below, check out Discord server I own in, or check the description below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!